say to you, I don't necessarily believe that you need to have a website. I do believe, however, that every one of you needs to have a web presence. And so what tonight we're going to be talking about is exactly that. Should you have a website? How do you engage with customers online? You know, how do you get found online? What channels do your customers use? And a little bit about social media's top 7. 44% of Australian businesses have a website, yet 90% of Australians search Google for information before buying. If the stats quite clearly say that 90% of us go onto Google and search for information before we buy, then at the moment, those 60% roughly of businesses that don't have a website or web presence, they're just not getting found. Typically what happens with this is that people have some sort of a need, right? They've got a problem, If you're going to go onto the internet to try and find something, you've got a problem, you've got a question, you're looking for an answer of some sort, okay? Which otherwise you wouldn't be there. Okay, so you've got a need. So the first thing that people do, and seems to be a process that everyone goes through. So once they've made the decision, then they'll contact. The next thing they'll do is that they will evaluate how good a response you give when they actually contact you. And then they let's assume that it's all been good, the evaluation's been good, they purchase. They're still evaluating because they're going to test you how long it takes to get there, if you're sending product or service, whatever, what the download is, how easy it is for them to use it. And then they're going to use this product. And if all of that works well for them, okay, they may go to the next step, which is becoming a loyal customer, which is up here. But only if you can demonstrate that you have all of the tools and the things in place to support them in the use of whatever it is that they bought from you. Let's say you've made the decision that you're going to go online. A couple of questions is where are you going to go online, which we'll cover. But the thing is, assuming that you're going to have a website, you've got to understand a few different things about how they work. The fundamental thing that Google is now looking for in terms of any website or any web presence is this thing. It's quality content. Now, what they mean by quality content is stuff that is new. So, for example, use your business, Kathy. Mortgages and finance. There's nothing to stop you be blogging about some of the ways in which you can actually utilise finance, which is your view of how it should be utilised, which may be different to a bank's view, which may be different to another financial broker's point of view or whatever. You're talking about the same stuff, a bank loan for a house, but you've got different ways of what you think of how it should be. That is what unique content is about. The next thing is that you've got to build in a whole series of tools which will help you drive, that are all driven by this, but which actually are the tools that help people find that content. So going around the circle, you've got off-page optimization. So, and then you've got on-page optimization on the other side, right? Now, what the difference is, on-page optimization very simply is this, is if you've got a website, there are tricks and things that you can do on your web pages to make them more engaging and to get them help get them found. The off-page optimization is that the things that you do away from your website or off of your website that drive traffic to your website or your web presence. First thing is you've got to think about is keywords and search engine optimization. When you go onto Google and you go searching for something, what you type in to find whatever it is you're looking for, that is the keywords. So one of the tricks to use when you're looking at search engine optimization is to look at how you can bring this huge tool, which is global, down into something that is local. So one of the tricks to getting yourself ranked higher quickly is to build your content around the issues of your customer include descriptions about what those issues are and the support services that you offer into what you are writing on your web page. The other thing which I've already sort of spoken to you about is writing web copy. And the key to writing web copy is to really look at making sure that your web copy is very much geared around answering the issues that you know that your ideal customer has. The next one is a content management system. All right, what is a content management system? What it is, it's actually the tool which is the back end of the website that allows you to actually go in and put up information, put up the pictures, do all of the different things. Now, we use WordPress sites, and the reason we do that is that there's a whole lot of tools associated with WordPress sites that are actual plugins, what they call plugins, and they make it very easy to use the site. So I can go into the back end of one of our websites, I can put in new copies, I can add pictures, I can add videos, I can do all that sort of stuff, I can put the pricing on. The reason I suggest you use these major platforms if you're going to a website is because there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of people who are computer technicians and web developers and everything else who use those platforms. So let's say I was using Damien as an example and Damien went out of business, I could come across to Vicky, who's also a web person because they both do WordPress, and I know that my website would be going. However, if I have a custom platform, which is something that Damien's created, so that I keep on coming back to him and have to spend more money with him, which is a trick that a lot of web developers do use, then all of a sudden he goes out of business. Guess what's happened to my website? Yeah, exactly. Start again. So these are some of the things. I touched on email before. How do you actually use your email signatures as tools to actually point to your website or to your Facebook page or to your YouTube channel or whatever it is? Okay. The social networking forums that you go on. I would suggest if you're using social network, what you would be doing is that you would be putting up posts of information, which is the start of the information where you actually have to then go back to your website to get the full information. So once again, using your analogy, Glenn, fishing, this is the bait. This is the bit that you put in there, you get them interested, you hook them, and what do? You flick them over to your website where they're going to get the full information, and now you've got them on your own space. But what I want to do is talk about, very briefly, the top 7 social media. So the thing about Facebook, a couple of things about Facebook. Facebook is probably is about the largest of the social media tools. Everybody thinks you have to be on it because everybody else is on it. All right? It's the wrong way to go about it. It's really about, if you're doing things that are social, if you're doing things that are fashionable, you're doing things that are, personal interest stuff. So, it could be gardening, it could be horses, it could be, anything that's got the ability to put cute and interesting pictures and cuddly pictures, those sort of things up, that will actually get you traffic. The numbers of likes that you've got is not necessarily the value of being on Facebook. It's not about likes. It's not about followers on Twitter. It's about the interaction that you have. What are you getting back as a result of that? Are people, as a result of the things you're posting, coming back to your website to get information, more information? And then have you got your website structured so that you're actually asking them to do something, to take another step so you can capture their name or you can sell them something immediately? Because if you're not doing those things, you're actually wasting your time. Another one, Google+. The Google+ is like a Facebook, but it's Google's version of it. But what I'm finding now is that I am using it more. And they've got some really cute things that you can use. So there's a thing called Hangouts, where you can actually have conversations with one individual, multiple individuals, but you can also record those conversations if you want to. So if you're having sales conversations or meetings or something like that, you can record them and then replay them. The other thing about Google Plus is if Google own it, excuse me, and you don't have a Google Plus account, and I do, and we're in the same business, who do you think they're going to favour? Probably, because I've got a Google account. All right, another one, LinkedIn. I call this Facebook for grown-ups. And this is really business to business. So if you've got a professional services type business and you're looking for other businesses as your clients, this is the space to be. Twitter, some people love it, some people hate it. I used it and played around with it and I dropped it. It doesn't suit my style of business. However, for people who've got, latest trend type business or things in the news and everything else where they want instant messages to get floating around and make things happen quickly. Oh, we've got a special on at the restaurant. We've got a special on at lunchtime today. All of a sudden you've realised, oh God, I did a double bake of sausage rolls and I want to get rid of all these sausage rolls rather than throw them away. We've got a special on sausage rolls today, 2 for 1. Put it out on Twitter, and if your audience is on Twitter, they'll come in and you'll find that you'll be able to clear the sausage rolls fairly quickly. Next one, YouTube. YouTube is absolutely brilliant. You can find, not only can you find anything on YouTube, you can actually find out how to do things on YouTube, and people will show you how to do things on YouTube. Anything. What are the sorts of things that people could go on to YouTube to explore about your business? Tips for preparing your house for sale. Tips for buying a house. Think about if you've got staff, your business, you've got staff. You can actually set up training videos on this is how you do things. Instead of having an induction sheets and showing people, you can actually have little training videos. This is how you do it and go about it. Pinterest. Now the thing about Pinterest is 2 things about it. 60% of the Pinterest clients, it's about 60-40%, 60% female. Pinterest has got the highest sales conversion rate of interested people than any other social media. Anything to do with clothing, things like gardening, things like beauty stuff, any of those sorts of things that have got a fairly strong female following, Pinterest is brilliant. But one of the great things about it is that you can very, very simply take a photo of a computer, put it up onto your Pinterest account. You can say that you're selling these computers and you can have a price there and people will buy it. The last one, which is similar to Pinterest, but is Instagram. Instagram's not one that I've played with. A lot of people are using just as a social, here I am here. This is their own personal sort of social board. People comment on it. It stays up there for a while, comes down, that sort of thing. But it's one that, look, it's being used a lot. I don't know how relevant it is for your businesses, but it's something to be aware of. What I'm going to suggest to you to do is to really have a think about what tools that you are going to which of the social media tools, whether that's website, whether that's actual social media platforms like Facebook or whatever, best suit your customers, and think about how you are going to really get the best for your customers and the best way of communicating with your customers.